Hey there. Today we're going to cover how to move your old report into Excel in under 9 minutes. What are you waiting for? Let's get into it. We have a pretty standard pivot table here that is pulling data from 3 separate tabs. So I'm going to walk you through exactly what I'm doing. So this pivot table is actually based on the sales data. So if we look at the sales data, there's quite a few things here. I added 2 VLOOKUPs on the right side to pull in customer name, which is a standard VLOOKUP there, and then product name. So both is going to product data and customer data. Then I do a pivot on the sales data here, creating this pivot here where I put customer name, product name, then sum of product standard, and sum of total product cost. Now you can see here, it's really straightforward. Now I'm going to show you exactly how you can move this to Power BI. First, if you haven't already, make sure to download Power BI. If you just do a quick Google search, you can find it right away and download it straight there. When you open it up, you should see something like this. There might be another window in front saying Get Data, but you can just exit out so your screen looks exactly like mine. All right, so go to the top left, click on Excel Workbook, AdventureWorks Sales. It's going to load a little bit, and then you should see different tables. Right now, we have customer data. If we check here, you can see it only goes to postal code. We want to check that. We want our product data and our sales data. And we can go ahead and just hit load. Now, let Power BI do its thing. It's going to take a little while. And now that it's done, you'll be able to tell that it's in there based on the data on the right-hand side. So we see customer data, product data, and sales data. Now, if you want to double check what you've brought in there, we can go to the table view over here on the left-hand side, click that, and you should be able to actually click on customer data, product data, and sales data. Okay, we're going to do one more thing to make sure everything's set up before we actually start creating the data in Power BI. We're going to go one more down to the left, click on the model view, and you're going to look at the relationships. So this sales data is what we were looking in Excel. So if we're clicking back to the sales data here in Excel, you can see here's all of this information. And there's a product key and a customer key here if we're looking over here. And this is what ties to the product data tab with a product key and the customer data tab with a customer key. Now, if we go back to Power BI, you can see that Power BI actually created all of those relationships automatically because the column names were the same. So you can see customer key here and product key here. Now, Power BI is pretty smart at figuring out those relationships, but sometimes the names are different. So maybe it's customer space key in the sales data and customer key without a space in the customer data. So sometimes you might need to do that. So if we pretend that this didn't have a relationship, we'll go ahead and delete that. We can just drag customer key over to customer key, and it'll automatically create that relationship there for you. Now, the reason why we need a relationship is it helps do the equivalent of a VLOOKUP. I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So if we go back to the left side, we click on Report View, and we want to click on this thing with the little blue boxes in it called the matrix. Then we're going to go to Product Data first, hit Product. Then we're going to go to Customer Data, hit Customer. And then we're going to go to sales data, and we're going to do the total product cost and the product standard cost. Now, this looks pretty messy right now, so don't worry too much about it. Right now on the right-hand side, we're going to take customer, drag it above product, so it says customer and product. And I want the product standard above the total product standard. Then I'm going to hover over this corner right here and drag it to make it bigger. So you can see all of the information in here. Now, if I click in here where it says Aaron Adams, you can see that it drills down automatically like in a pivot table. But what if I want to do it for all? I can minimize here, and there's these arrows up top. So we want to hit this little fork and click it, and then it automatically drills down on everything. And so we can see all of that stuff here. Now I want to do a couple other formatting things before I'm done here. So first thing I want to do is actually remove the not applicable. If I go to the right here, there's this filters pane. I'm going to go to customer. There's a little arrow there. Then I'm going to hit select all and uncheck not applicable because I don't want to see any customers that have not applicable. As I do so, you can see it automatically filters everything. Likewise, for standard cost and standard product cost, I want them to be currency with no cents. So I'm going to scroll down on the right, click on total product cost, go up here, hit the $sign. It'll format it as currency. And then I want to change it from auto to 0. Go ahead, hit enter. It'll automatically filter it. Likewise, for product standard cost, I want to click there, $sign, 0 cents. And I'm almost done here. Now, the only thing I want to do is rename. So instead of sum of product standard costs, I just want product standard cost. And here, I just want to say total product cost. So you just double click, total product cost. And I can even rearrange these. So if I wanted a little bit more stacked, I can do it like this. Just drag it. You see the little double bars. And there you go. Now you can see at the bottom my totals, because there's such a large amount of totals, it's wrapping the text there. So maybe we don't want it that narrow. We'll keep it about that much. And there we go. It's really straightforward. We can go even a little bit further if we wanted. So if we want to create something like a slicer, there's this icon here. You hit slicer. And for this example, we're going to do customer. And then we're going to go over here where it says format your visual, slicer settings, vertical list. You want a drop down. And then if you hit the 3 dots here, we're clicking the search button. We're going to drag it up to make it a little bit smaller. And there we go. And now I can search. So if I want something like Alex, I can search for any Alexes. Click on that, and it'll automatically filter on the left-hand side. Super helpful. Now, one last thing. If you want to share this data with somebody else or allow them to see it, there's a few ways you can do that. So first of all, we want to save this. And we're just going to save it as pivot table test. And I'm going to save it here. And you just go ahead and hit publish. And right now I only have my workspace. If you're in a enterprise environment, you might see shared workspaces. But if your organization doesn't have anything set up, you can just start with my workspace. Go ahead, hit select, and you can click on the link to take you there. Now you can see your report online. You can hit the share button, but make sure that you have a paid version of Power BI yourself, as well as anyone else who you're sharing it with. Well, that's it. If this was helpful in any way, please don't hesitate to drop a like. If there are any other Power BI topics you'd like me to cover, please add a comment below and I'll try to make a video for you. Thanks so much. Stay classy.